Welcome to Jackets TV, presented by Ohio Health. I'm Bob McElligott, and I'm joined by the general manager of the Blue Jackets, Scott Howson, as we wrap up the season and then get ready to talk about what is next for the Blue Jackets. And Scott, let's start with kind of just an overview of the season. I know it was very disappointing for you, for everyone. Not a lot of things went the way you had planned them going in the summer, but there were some positives, I'm sure, that you took out of it. What are some of the things that you can look back and say, you know what, this isn't the way I wanted it to go, but here's a bright spot that we may not have learned about had it not been this type of season?
Yeah, I think our play over the last 20 games, 25 games was better. I think we competed harder. I think Todd Richards did a very nice job getting the players to play at a more competitive level, a higher level, and the results came a little bit higher as we move forward. I think we finished 11-8 in the last 19, so that was a positive. I think if I look at moving forward, I think our defense is something that I'm really excited about. We added Jack Johnson, who played tremendously well here since the trade deadline. Getting Nikita Nikitin during the year, who I think is a legitimate top 4 defenseman as well. I think if you look at the top 5 on our defense with Wisniewski, Mathot, Nikitin, Tutin, and Johnson, I think that looks like a really good NHL defense. So that's going to be the strong point of our team. So those are the things that I look back sort of on a positive way, where the season was quite a struggle for us.
All right, and speaking of that, the goaltending situation, I know that there was disappointment there, not only with the play of Steve Mason, but also the injuries to Steve Mason, to Mark Dekanich, who never even played a game, to Curtis Sanford. It was a position where it was almost a revolving door for you. Is that your #1 priority to address the goaltending situation this summer?
Yeah, that's a really high priority, to make sure that we're better at that position next year. And we may be internally better in some respects, and we may get some outside help. We're going to look at all possibilities and options to make sure that's a strong point of our team. Because I think, again, if we have a good defense and we have really good goaltending, I think that's the first step towards us getting back to where we want to go.
You mentioned Todd Richards and the fact that you felt that he did a very good job in the last half of the season. You have to put a head coach in on a permanent basis. Do you have a timetable for that, #1? And #2, what did you learn from your last go-around hiring a head coach, that experience that you can now draw on as you make this next hire?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think Todd's a serious candidate, and he did a very good job. As far as a timeline, what I learned last time is that you don't control the timeline at times. People become available when they become available, depending on their current job status. So you can't put any definitive timing on it. We may move quickly. We may take our time. Certainly at this time now, we're sort of digesting the season and evaluating what went on, taking some time to gather our thoughts. But it's a difficult process. You've got to make sure you do your homework, and we'll continue to do that.
Everybody focuses on that first pick. There are a lot of picks you have to make in that draft. You're going to go through 7 rounds in that draft. So for you, for the scouts, what is the plan between now and the draft? What kind of players are you going to try to see? What kind of tournaments are on the slate for you?
Well, the last big tournament of the year, other than you get to see some junior playoffs, and there may be some players playing that play a long time in the junior playoffs, but you can't count on that. But right now there's the under-18 tournament going on in the Czech Republic. We've got scouts over there. I'm going over there tomorrow. So we'll get those viewings in. Early May we'll have our amateur meetings and talk about our lists and what we want to do for the next month and a half before the draft. Get our list in not completely final order, but get it sort of looks like it's close to where we're going to be come June 22nd. And then we have the Combine in Toronto, which is the end of May, beginning of June. And that's where the top players come in. You get to interview them. You do some medical interviews if you want, because there are so many injuries with the top players this year. And they do physical fitness testing, and you get those results. And then we might bring a few players in here or go visit players in their home early June, and then we'll be ready to go in Pittsburgh.
Is that something that you feel is important? Just not finding out about the player on the ice, that's easy to do. You can do that through video. You can do that through watching from the stands. But to actually talk to those players, try to get a feel of who they are as people. And I know that's tough to do when you're drafting a lot of players, but how important is that to find out about the character of the guy you're drafting?
Yeah, we try and do that with everybody, and it's becoming more and more crucial because you want to make sure that the player is going to be the right fit for you, and you're going to be the right fit for the player. So we've, we'll go into their billets homes, we'll go into their families' homes with some players. We'll certainly talk to coaches and trainers and teammates and all those things. You just try and find out as much as you can about the character of the player, because at the end of the day, a lot of these players are very similar in talent, and the ones that become really good players are the ones that are driven, that have character.
And at the NHL level, it's a little bit easier to find out about the character of players just through the networking. Jack Johnson, again, a great example, comes in here, great character, great work ethic, makes an immediate impact. As you go through the summer, if you're looking to add pieces through trades or free agency, what have you, will that also be an important part of how you approach that as well, the character of the player?
Yeah, you do. It's probably a little easier because there's always somebody in your organization that has either played with a player or has played with a player that's currently playing with that player, so you can get really good information. As long as you can, you're getting the real information. You can talk to coaches or managers or whatever, or ex-coaches and managers, and usually people are pretty truthful in this business.
Well, Scott, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time. Best of luck in your travels, safe travels to you, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Bob.
That's Scott Howson, the general manager of the Blue Jackets. I'm Bob McElligott. Thanks for watching Jackets TV, presented by Ohio Health.